Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm going to be looking at a couple of articles here from the Game Post, and it's really talking about the state of Destiny 2. I don't know exactly what's going on, but this was posted yesterday, September 25th, 25. Destiny 2 access blocked in multiple countries. Bungie says it's restricted by law, as players claim they can't play the content they paid for after a week of TAPIR or taper errors. So that caught my attention. Here we go. I'm sorry about all the ads that pop up. That's the only thing I don't like about this website. Okay, Destiny 2 players across CIS countries report that they've been locked out of the game with no notice or warning after a week of taper errors. Bungie now says access is restricted by law. What law? I don't know. 2 weeks ago, Bungie rolled out Ashen Iron, the first major update for Destiny 2's Year of Prophecy. It added a new reclaim activity with new weapons and armor, some of which caused a huge controversy around the Eververse store and Iron Banner mode. That's a whole nother story. Later this week, the epic version of the Desert Perpetual raid kicks off with a world first race on Saturday, September 27th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Along with that, there is also a brand new exotic mission called Warset Heist, set to go live next month, which is October. While all of that is rolling, another story has been unfolding in the background over the past week. Players across several countries say they've been completely locked out of Destiny 2 thanks to a persistent taper error code. And now Bungie has started responding to these complaints with a short message that's raising even more questions and answers. And what is CIS countries? What does CIS stand for? Reports of the issue started surfacing around September 15th. Whoa. That's like 10 days ago. When Destiny 2 players from countries like Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan began posting about being unable to log in. The game would fail to connect to Destiny servers and show a taper error code. Bungie has historically used taper to indicate service interruptions, usually during maintenance, but this time there was no scheduled maintenance and the errors didn't go away. Over the next few days, hundreds of threads flooded Bungie's official forums, all reporting the same problem. Destiny 2 was simply not letting them connect. The issue wasn't tied to one platform. Players from PC, PlayStation, and Xbox were all affected. And while some players said they found limited workarounds using VPNs or changing DNS settings, others reported that even those methods failed, especially on Russia PlayStation accounts. Why would Russia especially be blacked out? Destiny servers are not available where access is restricted by law. What? Early on, moderators told players the team was investigating the surge in taper reports, and yesterday, September 24, Bungie finally began replying to forum threads with a short message. Destiny services are not available where access is restricted by law. How is that just all of a sudden? That single sentence has only fueled more frustration. Many players are now asking Bungie to name the specific law they're referring to, one that supposedly prohibits access to Destiny 2 in multiple countries. But as of writing, Bungie has not published a clear statement, and the full list of affected countries by this geo block. It's important to note that back in 2022, Bungie announced it was suspending all Destiny 2 sales in Russia and Belarus. Starting today, we will be working with our partners to suspend all Destiny 2 sales and commerce in Russia and Belarus. The devs say players in these regions will still be able to play any Destiny 2 content they have already purchased and download the free game, but will no longer be able to purchase new content or silver. Because what? On PC, using the VPN only during the login phase works. Once authenticated, the VPN can be disconnected and the game runs perfectly stable without disconnections. On Xbox, simply change the DNS settings or DNS servers resolves the problem. On PSN, changing DNS only works for accounts not registered in Russia. Russian PSN accounts still cannot be connected. The backlash in the forums hasn't slowed down while some players try to troubleshoot in network logs and VPN settings. Others voiced their disappointment in emotional posts sharing how they'd invested years and hundreds of dollars into the game only to be shut out without warning. Oh my goodness. One player wrote instead of simply suspension, the entire player base seems to have been wiped out of the game with no explanation. To have that taken away without proper communication feels like a slap in the face. Some even noted that Destiny 1 is still playable, which they believe undermines Bungie's claim that the block is due to laws in their countries. The fact that Destiny 1 is still working makes such an explanation as the law even more ridiculous, another player wrote. The countries reportedly affected by this restriction include Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Armenia, oh my gosh, Azerbaijan, Moldova, let's see, Tajikistan, and I'm not even going to brutalize any of these other countries' names. Players in Iran and Afghanistan has also reported encountering the same taper error, suggesting the block may extend beyond just CIS territories. What in the world? Hold on. CIS territory meaning refers to the member countries of the Commonwealth of Independent States. What? A regional organization formed by former Soviet republics after the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991. The territory of the CIS collectively includes the following current member states, which cooperate on a range of issues, including economics, defense, and foreign policy. Purpose: the CIS was created to provide a platform for cooperation and stability for the newly independent states after the collapse of the USSR. Not all former Soviet republics joined the CIS. The Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania never joined. Other countries such as Georgia and Ukraine later left the organization due to conflicts with Russia. Russia has been the most dominant force in the CIS, leading to complexities and tensions with other members that wish to assert their independence. What does this have to do with politics, though? That's what this sounds like it's heading. Something political happened, and then they shut the access to Destiny 2 off. As for the law mentioned in Bungie's reply, the company hasn't named a specific statute. There's still no detailed public statement from the devs about the scope of the block, a country list, or refund entitlement guidance for affected players. The only official line remains the one posted on the forums. For many players in affected regions, that's not nearly enough clarity. Well, yeah, it's not. We'll update this story if there's any new information or an official statement from Bungie. What do you think of Bungie's response here? Should players who already pay for the game have been given more notice or at least more transparency before losing access? Let us know your thoughts below. So I'm not going to touch on the next article that I was going to read because this is this is more in depth than I thought. But this is politics for sure. I don't have proof of that, but that's where my gut feeling is leaning. And because if you follow world news, there's something going on with Russia in terms of their government, their military making certain moves. And maybe that has something to do with it. And I think Russia and Belarus are kind of closely intertwined in terms of their like political movements. So that's what it feels like. But the thing is, for the video game part of it, is the players in those countries should have been given a warning. And if they didn't have access to their paid content anymore, Bungie has to give them a refund. They just can't out of the blue turn off, their access to the servers, and they have no access to the content that they pay for. They have to, they have to get their money back. Because there's no sense of you paying for content that you don't have access to. And of course, I don't think Bungie's going to be in a rush to do that because they're probably already hemorrhaging money. But the whole restricted by law and not giving clarification on that, that's just bad. It really is. So how they manage this situation, it's really not good at all. So you guys can give me your thoughts, but that's my thought of it. This is definitely political. I would say it has a lot to do with Russia and probably Belarus. I haven't followed world news in the past couple of weeks or so because I'm trying to take a break from that, but I've read enough headlines to know that something's going on, whether it's political and or military, with Russia especially, making certain moves on the international stage. And so I think that has a lot to do with it, but Bungie's definitely going to have to clarify their position and what's going on. And if access is going to be reinstated, but just saying restricted by law, I mean, that's just not going to do it. So you guys can let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.